recording. Right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All right. Mustafa, I would like you to introduce us to the sciences of sarf and nahwa and give us their definitions, please.
So the Arabic language it branches off from into two different distinct sciences. One is sarf, one is nahw. Sarf it starts talking about the how a word is formed from a root word to verbs and so on and so forth. It's you could also you could call it morphology, right? It's known as the mother of all knowledge. It deals with prefixes, suffixes. And nahv is syntax. It deals with vowels. How we say fatha, damma, kasra, or zabar, zir, pesh. Like where you're gonna put that on a word on the ending. And word endings. This is a general, broad definition of what sarf and nahv is.
All right. Jazakallah khair for that, Mustafa Saab. So the very first lesson that we're going to go into, right, is the words this and that, right? This in Arabic, this would be hada, and that in Arabic would be dhalika. So let me write it out for you guys, right? So it would be ha, dhal, alif, ha, dha. This is this, right? And then we have dhalika, right? Dhalika is spelled like this: dha, dhal, lam, kaf, the, li, ka, and that translates to that. Now, it's important to remember, right, in the Arabic language, there's things called conjugations, and there's also the male and female pronoun, right? A lot of words are gendered, right? So in the case of this, right, this that we're dealing right now is actually the male pronoun singular of this. And for that, it's also the same. It's the male singular pronoun for that.
Hey guys, he is writing on the board. You have to zoom in. First zoom out all the way. You'll see little scribbles. Zoom in on those scribbles. So he's writing around like 30% zoom. So
All right, I got it on. Can now you guys see it? Mustafa, can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay, well, said
Yep,
you can
I
see
can
it. All right, you guys can see it. That's good. So hada, right? Ha, dal, alif, right? You guys spell this hada, and dal, lam, kaf. That's that. So hada and dhalika. Now the way it's pronounced, right, is actually with another alif. It's hidden, right? So it'd actually be close to like a kara harakat, right? So it'd be like this, right? So hada. Otherwise, you would make it sound like hada or dhalika, right? It'd be very, very quick. It'd be very, very short. But because there's extra alif there, right? It's hada instead of hada and dhalika, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Now we go into certain vocab words, right? Because whatchamacallit, we need to be able to learn some basic words before we go into anything in depth, right? So for example, the word kitab, right? So the word book, right? So kaf, ta, alif, and ba. Kitabun. And this means a book. Right? It's not specific, it's singular. Right, so we have one book. Let me write it out a bit more so that you guys can see it properly. Book. Right? So we have kitabun, right? And that means a book. Now, if we want to form a sentence, we do something like this. Let's say, for example, you want to refer to this book, right? This is used for something that's close by, right? So we would refer to it as هذا, right? So you need the harakat there to keep in mind what it sounds like, right? It helps. And then kitabun. So kaf, talif, kita, and then ba, kitabun. And this translates to this is a book, right? One important thing here is that this word just means this, and this word just means a book, right? So this, a book, right? But because of how grammar is, right, there's helping verbs in between that are hidden from our sight, right? So what the helping verb is in this case, it would be is, right? And depending on the context of the sentence itself, right, whatever it may be, like, oh, this is a book, or that was a book, or they are something, whatever the word may be, right? Whatever the helping verb may be, because that's what it's called in English, this is what we would use, and this is what is hidden in the actual sentence itself, right? So hada kitabun, if you just translate it as is, it would be this a book, but obviously this is incorrect, right? So instead you would have the helping verb, which is, right? So this is a book, right? Then we go into horse, right? So the word for horse is farasun. So I'll do that is a horse. So the, lam, kaf, dhalika, dhalika, fara, sun, the scene, right? So dhalika farasun, that would translate to that is a horse, right? Farasun is a horse, and dhalika is that. And remember, this is the male singular pronoun of this and that, right? So we're only sticking to that for this lesson, right? In the future, inshallah, we'll go more in depth into these conjugations and whatnot, right? And their actual terminologies, right? So now we've discovered, okay, we have this hada and we have that dhalika, and we know that the word for a book is kitabun, and we know a word for a horse is farasun, right? And now I'll take another sentence, right? I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And we're going to go with the sentence, this is a pen. Whoops. This is a pen, right? So, okay, anybody tell me how would that sentence look like? But first, before that, let me actually tell you what the word for pen is. So, qaf, lam, mim. Qa, la, mun. Right? And this is equal to a pen. A pen, right? So now that we know that hada is the word for this, and we know that the word pen would be qalamun. Can anybody tell me what would it look like if I decided to do this sentence in English into Arabic? My brother Hussein Masroor, could you tell
Yeah,
me?
ذلك قلم.
That would be that is a pen.
Oh, wait, you said this.
Yes,
Oh,
I said this. So it would
هذا
actually be, yeah,
yeah, هذا قلم.
right. It would be hada qalamun. Hada, and then qaf, lam, meme. هذا قلم, right? And we have another example right here that's written. It says ذلك فرس, right? So what I wrote over here, that is a horse. This will translate over here. If you want to read like in clear Arabic, right, you would have ذلك فرس, right? And up above, you can also see over here as well, هذا كتاب, right? This is a book. You have هذا, which is this, and then you have كتاب, which is a book, right? So now we're going into one more exercise, right? So we've done this is a pen, right? Hold on. So now let's go into the sentence. I'm gonna bring another word in there, right? So that is an animal. Apologies for the handwriting. Writing on the tablet is not exactly the most ideal form, but it is what it is. So the word for animal, right, is حيوان, right? So let me spell it out. The ha, ya, wow, ya, wa, wow, alif, noon, حيوان, right? We draw it a bit more closer so you guys can see. So now we have حيوان, this for whatever reason the pen is not working, but it's okay. We'll go into animal, right? So that is an animal. Masroor, tell me what that sentence would look like in Arabic.
That is an animal.
Yeah.
ذلك حيوان.
Yeah. So it would look like ذلك حيوان, right? حيوان. So ذلك حيوان, that is an animal. So now we have some basic, very, very basic knowledge of this and that, and specifically the male singular pronoun of this, and then we also basic knowledge of some words like a book, a pen, an animal, and a horse. Waqas has a question. Did you have a question?
Never mind. I thought you said Hainanun and I got confused. Never mind.
No,
Never
no,
mind.
sorry. It's a حيوان, right? Just to clarify again, if anyone needs, right? And you in the Quran Sharif, you can find many examples all throughout the Quran Sharif, like in Surah Baqarah, the 35th ayat. I don't have it up, unfortunately, but perhaps when I'm editing the video, I can add it in there, right? Basically, it goes هذه شجرة, and in essence, right? So the specific thing, it says هذه الشجرة, right? هذه الشجرة, and that means this tree, right? هذه is because it's a feminine word, so هذه الشجرة, right? And in many more examples in the Quran Sharif, You can find it all throughout the word hada and dhalika, so that whenever you read the Quran Sharif, whenever you pick it up, you can see in the Quran Sharif that, okay, this specific word means this particular word means that. And if you can recognize some of the words that we've written here, like qalamun, farasun, kitabun, then you'll also be able to recognize in the Quran Sharif, okay, this, you can get an idea of what the word, the structure of that word sounds like, or that basic sentence structure, right? Hada kitabun, right? This is a pen. Sorry, this is a book. And hada qalamun, this is a pen. Dhalika hayawanun, that is an animal. Though these sorts of words, when we go in depth about these lessons in the future, inshallah, we'll be able to recognize more and more things as we go along, and within due time, we'll be able to understand a fair amount of the Quran Sharif, not just in a grammatical sense, but also in a vocab sense as well. So whenever we're here listening to any tilawat or we're reading it ourselves without the need of a translation, we were able to understand at least some parts of it, or most parts of it rather. I would still suggest reading translations, particularly Kanzul Iman, right? Because it is a very, very useful aid. And not only that, but there's also a benefit in these translations as well, written by the Imams of the past, rahimullah. But in any case, right, this is the basics of what we're going to form in the future. And if you get these basics down, then inshallah, everything else will be much more easier for all of us. And if there's anyone who wants to have any questions of any sorts, because we'll be stopping in 2 minutes, you're more than welcome to question right now. Brother Mustafa, would you like to speak on anything?
Yes, I would like to talk about the Notion page. It's a
Mhm.
link that I'm gonna put in the chat. Give me a second.
So this Notion page is a cooperation project that we've been working on. It has everything that the regular public needs, and it has things that even, that would help students of knowledge as well on their journey on becoming scholars, right? And we're still in the process of working on every single bit of it, but we've got a decent amount in there, especially when it comes to Arabic grammar. So inshallah, whenever Mustafa sends it to us, we can all check it out on our own time. And if there's any particular thing that you guys want on the Notion site, then you can let us know personally.
And for that as well, we'll also, very soon we're gonna have a Google Forms on the website where anybody can offer their, question, comments, feedback, concerns. I'm going to share my screen. Or actually, I can't do it. Ali, if you can do it, share the screen, then I can just talk about it.
Let me make you the host real quick.
Okay.
So, okay, now you can share the screen.
It's gonna close the whiteboard then.
That's fine. We've gotten what we needed to do for the whiteboard.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen now. Window. Here it is. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So this is a site that we're currently working on, and we're gonna post the URL in the chat. The intake has quite a lot of stuff in there, right? And the section that we'd like you guys to look at is the Arabic section. So today we covered a lesson of Nahv. So if we go to basic Nahv part 1, actually I'll put in the link first, and then you guys can, if you'd like, follow along.
All right. So that ends our class time. And inshallah, I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.